Wanted to really follow what Coltrane was doing, period, And so if you can see how it's done. I had written that poem, my sister. I had never performed it. Never, ever, ever. Because if you see, I had little things like to be sung, stamp, stamp, clap hands, use your voice, sing, all of that, right? But I was flying to Brown University to do a gig, and it was snowing in New York. By the time we got to Brown, it was really snowing, and the pilot said, and I quote, "We can't land yet until they clean, they clean, whatever. And I think we'll have enough gas to last, We said, yeah, we hope so too. And finally we landed. So instead of getting to a place at Brown to read at 8 p.m., I would show up at 11 p.m. And the students at Brown were so bright and so great. They came, got the announcement, went out at 8 and came back at 11 o'clock. They were there. So I said, whoa, you waited all this time. I'm going to really do a reading for you. And so I did a long, long reading, like an hour and a half, like boom, and was really tired. I said, I'll take one question. And this young brother raised his hand and said, Professor Sanchez, could you read your Coltrane poem? And I said without missing a beat, I've never read that poem out loud. He said, well, we waited for you for 3 hours. I love students, right? And I did that poem, and I said, give me a minute to look at it. Because I knew that what I was doing was imitating what Coltrane was doing, okay? Breaking down the melody, making you stop and think and wonder, and making you at some point engage between the lines, between the music. And I read it. When I finished reading, there was this distinct silence. And I went, ooh, wow, 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 you blew that, Sonia. In some kind of way, you really blew that. And then people got up, those students got up and stamped their feet and started clapping. And they started to do the same thing I had done with the voice, whatever. So yes, but many people saw that kind of poem as like, that is not poetry, because one, it doesn't rhyme, and where's the imagery involved with that? And they forget what we were doing to say a Coltrane poem, whatever. They should have understood what people were trying to do at that point. But at that time, many people didn't hear Coltrane, didn't know Coltrane, didn't understand, and they put Coltrane, when the critics started to write about him, right, they began to write in different terms, not about what he was doing. Baraka probably did the best analysis of what he was all about at some particular point. So yeah, so that's what I tried to do, in terms of make the sound. And I did one long poem called Middle Passage, which had to do with sound. I started, it was the coming. It was the coming that was bad. But it's the use of the sound, and the words and the repetition that was important for me, to do, and to do something called Middle Passage in that way. And that came from the influence of the jazz musicians, who were playing and who were doing this amazing work, and we were trying to imitate it, with fewer words, with sounds, and the words we used had to, in a sense, imply sound, but it was also in between the spaces that was important too. Yeah, that makes sense to you.
Yeah. So yeah, what Anthony.